Well, hey there, folks. This is Chris McLean, Peak Performance and Transformation Coach, back with another episode of the Peak Performance and Predictable Growth Show, the Peak Performance Show for creative agency founders, owners, and leaders, where we explore the agency journey from the unique perspective of those at the coalface of the industry. My guests help unlock and dissect strategies, tools, and tactics from the trenches that are working right now to help you deliver better results for your clients and grow and scale your agency to 6, 7 figures and beyond. And in the studio with me today, I have Carlos Luna from The Feel Marketing. And they help paint protection and window tint shop owners position and grow their business by creating high-end brand identity systems and a proven lead gen system for window tint, ceramic coatings, and paint protection film. I love a good niche. I can't wait to get in and talk to Carlos about how that came into existence. Carlos, thanks for joining me here, mate. Thanks for
having
coming
me.
on. No, my pleasure. So let's start there. That sounds, as I mentioned before, I love a good niche. And paint protection, window tint shops, was that something you were involved in before you sort of got into the agency space, or did it come through sort of trial and error, and that's just happened to be where your clients sort of mainly came from? What's the story there?
Well, I first joined the a Facebook ad agency scaling group, and I started learning about how I needed to find a niche. And before that, I was working as an SEO manager for a dentist niche business, and I have experience in IT sales, Google, Facebook ads, and SEO. So yeah. I wasn't really planning on picking a niche. I just kind of wanted to go very broad. And then my brother, who we were trying to find a different way to make money at the time for him. And then one of my other, I call him a brother, he's not my brother, but he was struggling with addiction at the time. And in the past, he had a detail shop, and he had other, like a mobile setup as well. And he started teaching us a little bit more about detailing. And I had experience marketing for a detail business from the last company that I worked at as a marketing manager. Yeah, right. And it just sounded great. So I just said, you know what, I immersed myself first and foremost into the actual service. So before I even tried to market for it, I actually became a detailer with him in our garage, learning how to polish, learning all the terminology.
Yeah, right.
And that's how I decided just to that's how I put my toes in the water.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you went really behind the scenes to understand the business and get that expertise on the ground. Going back a step, when you started and you're thinking, wanting to go wide and broad and everyone's a customer, and then you had that conversation of actually you need to niche down. Did you have that thought in mind already of you were kind of already looking for a niche, and then this opportunity kind of showed up with your friend and the detail shop? Interested in just how that connection is made, because oftentimes when we start looking for something, it shows up for us. So I'm just wondering if that was kind of how that happened for you, that you had it in mind that you wanted a niche, and then this random thing happened, and that sort of you fell into by chance.
Definitely, man. And I guess I don't really understand how people just pick a niche and go after it. I feel like that's how a lot of people end up failing. Not failing, but at least not doing very well right away, because they're trying to do it for marketing agency growth instead of looking at the real problems that those business owners in that niche are having and really be more interested in that. So I believe a very essential part of me going after it was that I began to see that the market was in decline aesthetically. All the logos had like the silhouette on them. Their websites were poorly built, and a lot of and I joined a forum. So I joined the Facebook forums for detailers. I started seeing the questions, and I just realized, like, man, I can do so much for this industry by just doing the fundamental stuff. Like, what is branding? It's not your logo; it's the gut feeling somebody has when they see anything related to your business. What is marketing? What is inbound, outbound? And when I just kind of started posting a little bit and sharing how we were growing our mobile business, because we grew into 2 shops now. 1 year ago, we started doing it professionally, and we opened up our second location about 4 days ago, we moved into a second 4,000 square foot building.
Yeah, wow, awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, I got stuck in it and I loved it. So yeah, it was more like, it wasn't me just picking one and like, yeah, even though it did happen randomly, I was really more interested in helping these people. And honestly, I saw it as an opportunity to make a name for myself and make a dent in the automotive world. Because at first I wanted to go all automotive, but
Yeah.
I ended up going micro niche. I went into a pocket in the automotive.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think that's a really clever way to look at it if you look at it from a business perspective. If you can be big fish in a small pond, right, versus a small fish in a big pond. That's a really that micro niching really is where it's at, which is why when I saw how niche down you were in your bio and your description, I think I found that really interesting. Of how do you tease that out? But I love the approach that you've taken, that you found something that you're actually genuinely interested in, right? You were curious in that. Not only curious, you started running that type of business, and now you're sort of doing both. So you can really genuinely talk to those pain points, and you can say, hey, when I was on the tools using blah, 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 you've got that story and you've got that context to help other people get their story across. So I really, really love the approach that you've taken.
Thanks. Thank you.
So in terms of what you do sort of on the tools technically, how are you helping these businesses? Is it graphic design? Are you designing brand and logo and signage and that sort of thing? Or is it more strategy and system and then the digital side, or is it a bit of everything?
It's a bit of everything, but I specifically focus on web design. So being with a marketing and design background, I realized that these guys were running ads, like Google ads, to their homepages. They were running Facebook ads. They were just boosting Facebook posts, kind of like, throwing darts in the dark. And I started realizing, like, they're not even sending them to landing pages. They're not sending specific offers on Facebook. They're still saying, oh, Facebook ads don't work, as a lot of us have heard in the agency space. So I quickly developed a system and everything that I ever did for other people, I first tried it with my own business. So when we were doing mobile, while I was developing the systems, I was actually out. Like I would set up the funnels, I would get the leads, close them myself, and then I would go to their house, polish their car, put a ceramic coating on it, ask for the reviews, and then I was building my own brand at the same time. And then I felt like that's honestly that got me to where I'm at today, because now I'm probably the most expensive auto detail web designer, but it was because obviously I'm the specialist and I also have a detail shop. I was mobile, so I get all of that. So yeah, man, it was just something that I began to develop. And so as far as like what I offer, it's not custom, because obviously custom is not going to get me very far because it's so much more work. It's Facebook ads with a compelling offer. It's Google ads to a landing page with no offer. It's web design that is not only high in aesthetic, but also compelling with marketing content and strategic marketing layouts. Those 5 things are like the biggest game changers for any automotive, or I guess in this case, auto detail, paint protection film business, because they don't know anything about it. Very few of them do. And the ones that do are like really big shops that are investing in big agencies. I think up until I came into the space, I had never seen that before.
Yeah, and that's sort of the second part of the equation, is solving a real problem for real people that have a genuine challenge. You sort of hit the nail, you've really nailed down on that specific pain point. And often it is simple stuff, right? It can be just getting the basics, getting the foundational stuff right can have a massive exponential uptick in business and revenues and profit and all that kind of stuff. If you're not doing effective Facebook ads, getting that extra exposure can really start to get returns. So I love what you're saying, that it doesn't always have to be fancy, right? And all the bells and gadgets and everything. It can just be focus on a couple of really intrinsically important things and get those dialed in, and that's going to give you that significant increase.
Yeah, agreed.
And I love that you've done it yourself as well. I love that process that you literally were hands on and said, let me work this thing out, and then I'm going to go and service the customer and do the job, and then come back and do the sales as well. Love that. You've got the field experience, right? You've actually done it in the real world, so you can talk that language, and you understand. You really genuinely understand the customer because you are that customer.
And it was out of frustration, to be honest, because I felt like at the moment, you know, being a new agency, I couldn't convince anybody to pay me what I was asking for like a rebrand, for a web design, for the Facebook, Google ads. So I wanted to teach them, you know, about the fundamentals of branding. You know, how a lot of them had really good work offline, because like these guys literally make cars shiny for a living. But it's ironic that the quality of work offline is amazing, but their online presence makes them look like they're Joe Schmo who is just, you know, washing cars for $20. And that's the biggest roadblock for them, was they couldn't find a way to present their brand at a higher level. And it was because they weren't uneducated. And that was, again, it was the reality on the whole market. So I figured I had to do it myself. So I began to, and through that process, I wrote blogs. You know, these are good signs of a high performing website. I posted in the groups probably for a few, I would say 2 to 3 months before I started even selling anything. I never offered my services to anybody. All I did was, oh, these are the 10 things that are really helping us right now. And I'm just going to create a blog or a Facebook post, and I'm just going to post it in these groups with 144,000 detailers, 44,000 detailers here. And people were just like, dude, like this stuff is so gold. Like, can you help me? And then that's when I knew that I was feeling a real demand, and I had the capability and the know-how to create a service. And that's kind of how the field marketing was born.
Yeah, again, awesome that you're going and helping people by helping them and providing that genuine, authentic value up front.
Yeah.
And then allowing them to come to you by saying, this guy knows his shit. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
How do I get some of that? So it's a really, really nice, genuine, organic approach to marketing.
And genuine is key, because I know a lot of people they'll go in the groups, and I can tell right away, because I believe I was one of the first ones in the niche to do it right. I've seen a lot more guys in the past 2 months come in, and you know what? Like, they're adding value, but it's like, these are 3 things you need to do to get more clients. Click the link below if you want a free consultation. I'm like,
get my free training. Yeah.
Not yet, man. You really have to build rapport. And my whole thing is, my number one saying is, you can give away the blueprint. Like, you can copy my blueprint, but you can't copy my results. So I've never been afraid to share any of my secrets with a detailer, a shop, even like the guys nearby. We've done seminars for local guys here to teach them how to brand and position the business, so we can raise the industry together. We can all make more money. So I believe that the word genuine, I think, is used so like watered down lately, because by genuine, I mean, I am going to give away secrets that are like working for us, and I'm not going to expect anything in return. Not a new client, not a like, not a comment, because I just think this is so important for all of us to be able to raise the bar together.
Yeah, it's an important distinction. So I think there's definitely a genuine, there's genuineness and authenticity as a marketing method, right? As a marketing approach, where, as you say, people coming into groups and adding value. And I'm just here to drop. I literally was just looking through a Facebook group post by someone that did exactly that, like dropped into a group and said, hey, I'm just here adding value. Go check out my free training. Here's the link. And it's like, yes, you're adding value, but I'm not selling, but you are selling.
There's a hidden motive. And people can see that right away, especially today, in today's day and age. People are like, you can sense when somebody's just trying to give value to get something in return. Like, we're just so conditioned for that. So that never even crossed my mind up until 3 months later, when I really felt like I could monetize something and it would be a fair exchange for financials, you know, to give that service, you know. But even then, I've been very hesitant to raise prices until I felt, because I didn't just want to be good, I wanted to be the best. So if I developed a new system for ceramic coating lead generation, my buddies would be like, you need to charge more money, and I was like, no, not yet, man, because I don't just want to do good. I want every single competitor that comes into my space from now on to know that, like, they got a long way to go before they can even start touching what I've been doing.
Yeah, I love that, man. You're on that you're playing the infinite game, you're playing that mastery game. It's that never ending. How do I make this incrementally better every day? How do I find a new way?
And you know what? It's evolved now, because before, for the past 2 years, I've been working with detailers, and I always told myself that someday these big brands and manufacturers in the industry were going to hire me. And recently, I literally fired almost 40 of my agency clients, and I took on, so like one of the brands, the growing brands that I believe is going to take over is SB3 Coatings. They just hired me to be their head of global marketing, which is pretty cool, because now I'm gonna be helping a brand that is big in the industry scale globally, no longer locally.
Yeah. Nice.
And then my second one landed a few weeks ago. So I'm also head of marketing for Targe Industries, which is a windshield protection film. So I'm also going to be helping them scale, get more installers. And again, it's kind of shift. It's kind of B2B now. It's B2B at a different level, at a corporation level now. So it's cool, man. I mean, I'm just kind of going with the flow, and I've always wanted to do big things. So when the opportunity came, I just went for it.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a nice inflection point going from servicing local to now you're sort of getting that. What does it look like globally? How does it look like connecting to? Yeah, whole different kettle of fish, or a whole different ball game when you start playing at a global level, and with bigger brands, right, that have more on the line. Also, just it becomes a different game, but you've got that foundation, right? You can still use the same stuff that you've built.
It's literally,
and you just tweak it.
Exactly. It's literally the same thing. And I think that's why I'm so valuable to these companies right now, because they know that their businesses depend on a successful market of automotive businesses. And unless these people have profitable ways or strategies to grow, they're not going to buy more of their products. So what they're doing is they're creating a demand for their products, and I'm going to help them facilitate that. And we're building like our own Facebook groups. I'm giving away Thursdays and Friday mornings for detailers to get 1 hour one-on-one Zoom call. If you're a certified installer for these two companies, you have access to me directly for 1 hour. We will literally build a website together. We will build a Google ad campaign together, a Facebook ad campaign together. We will audit your SEO, and I will do the work for you for an hour, just because I want to really show them that, I want to position these big brands as global leaders. So I plan to do that. I plan to make them the best in the industry.
Amazing. So are these sort of smaller local brands that have just caught on and become bigger and global, or were they parts of other big companies?
So the people who create these businesses, so at first they were service based. So the owner of SP3, Barry, he's been detailing since like 1992 or something like that. And he saw like the rise in like ceramic coatings. Ceramic coatings are new. They're like a new age wax. They actually bond with your clear coat. It's nanotechnology. They're chemically resistant. So he wanted to develop his own version of them. So he did. So then that's when SP3 was born. So these new products that he has, the business relies on getting more installers. So my shop here is a certified installer for SP3 Coatings, which means we've done training. We're certified. We can offer these, and they also go on the Carfax report. So they want to get more installers, and now I'm able to speak directly to their ideal audience, because I am one of their ideal audiences, and I've been working with their ideal clients for 2 years now. So it's, I think hopefully soon I'll have one of those large clients in every industry: window tint, ceramic, paint protection film, windshield protection film. That's my goal.
Nice. Yeah, that'll give you some pretty decent scale.
Yeah. It's funny because my resume before I started any of this, because I wasn't born here, so my parents brought me here really young, and I'll tell the story about that later, when I have my citizenship in place, because it's in the works right now. But I mean, the reason why I'm an entrepreneur was because I can't work W-2. I can't be on somebody's payroll. I had to be creative, and I believe that's why I kind of work so hard too, because I don't have a choice. So yeah, man, I can relate a lot to people that I can see working hard and then just don't have the resources. So I'd like to be a support in that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. You're lifting yourself up so that then you can go and give back and uplift others that that are in a similar situation, which I imagine must be pretty tough in that environment over there, particularly at the moment with how's that industry look at the moment? Has that had a big effect sort of over the last year, or has it sort of managed to flourish in that time?
It has. You know what? I mean, I've done over 150 websites in the past 2 years on my own.
Wow.
I've done, I think we're spending closer to $20,000 a month with only a handful of clients now on just Google Ads alone. Our conversion rates on average are 40 to 50%. No, I say 40%. Even the aesthetic. So I don't do the logo design, but there's a really amazing guy. His name is Dave Christian, who I think is the best automotive branding guy that there is. So I pretty much, if I get a client and their website is just, I'm going to build them a website, or I'm going to do campaigns for them and I know their branding is on a point, I just, hey man, can you make this stuff for me? He sends it back to me in a week and then we're off to the races. And it's stuff that, man, it's stuff that is really, really good. You know, having an eye for branding and negative space, typography, hierarchy and the type, and it goes such a long way. So we've been able to do that for quite a bit of brands. Yeah, because I work with guys in about, I was working with guys up until recently in about 45 states, Canada, and Australia.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, before I kind of slowed everything down, but yeah, I'd like to think, just from the context of the conversations in the Facebook groups now, that people are a lot more educated. If you ever get to see in the group, a search in the group, when somebody asks for, hey, who does web design, I literally get tagged at least 4 to 5 times in every single post.
Wow. Well, that's because you've built that credibility, right? You've served that audience with just from a place of, I know this stuff and you need to know this to grow your business.
Yeah.
Amazing, man. Amazing story. I think we need to try and get you a Netflix show or something. I think it'd be fascinating.
Yeah, I would like to write a book someday called My Mexican American Dream.
Love it.
I just need a publisher.
Yep. So, hey, any publishers that happen to be tuning into the show, hit Carlos up.
Sweet.
Get in that deal, and then write the book, and then we'll get you onto a Netflix show. I think that'd be super awesome. That'd be super cool to tune into. Really cool journey, man. Yeah, really appreciate you dropping by again. It's super interesting to find someone who's, I think it's a really unique position that you've got, where you've actually gone in and built the business and running the business that you're then also serving the client base for. I know a lot of, like for myself, I service agency owners because I was an agency owner. So I think if you can bring that genuine, I know the challenges because I've felt them. I've been through I resonate emotionally with that challenge that you have day to day. And you can help them overcome that and solve that. Whether, like you said, you can take that, I guess you're dealing with like beautifully aesthetic work that they're doing and then reflecting that back into their online presence. That, just doing that is going to massively help those businesses. So whether it's that or just taking workload off of them, that they don't have to do that anymore, or helping them with stuff that they just don't know how to do, super beneficial to those types of businesses.
Yep.
So I appreciate your story, man. I appreciate you dropping by. If people want to find out more about you, connect with you, where's there's a couple of places up on screen, but where's the best place for them to drop you a line and get in touch?
I would say my personal Facebook page. I'm pretty used to doing the high volume messages, and I mean, I'm not somebody who's like, I have like 10,000 friends yet. I'm not a big deal yet. So yeah, you can still reach me there if you need to. So I'm happy to help. I mean, my time is stretched pretty thin already, but anybody who has a genuine kind of that seems to have a genuine need to fill some kind of information gap, I'm happy to give what I can.
Awesome, man. So what does that next step look like for you? What does that scale, just going beyond yourself, what does that look like for you in the coming year or the coming few years?
Well, I think I'm going to go back to really putting an agency on autopilot, and I'd like to scale my auto detail agency to 9 figures. I was able to do more than 6 figures on my own, and it wasn't difficult. And that was me doing all the work. That's just because I charged so much. and
Yep.
my system is solid, that I didn't really have a need to outsource it, and I didn't really trust anybody, because once you're in a micro niche, I really feel like you have to have an understanding of the industry before, because I, just like, a lot of people will be like, oh, hey, I want to I can do Facebook ads, I got VAs, I can do all this automation stuff, but I've yet to see people that can really be working at the level that I need them at. And I've tried everything, I've tried everything. So my next step is to, I guess, invest in people. But I think I want to build it locally. I want to open up jobs here locally for people, and I want to build the agency there. But I won't release it and scale it until I really feel like we're doing an amazing job. Yeah. Other than that, I'm just going to be building. I'm going to keep building up shops. So yeah, I'm going to keep building shops.
Awesome on the job training opportunity. Get some local resources working in the shop, and then doing the marketing.
Yep.
Get that experiential learning of getting on the tools, and then getting on the digital tools and running the campaigns at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool work experience. So yeah, thanks for dropping by, Carlos. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I don't know if you're about to wrap up now, if you got a bit more on for the day, but appreciate you taking the time out of your day to stop by and let us know all about paint protection and wrapping and all that really cool stuff. Something
Thanks,
I
Chris.
didn't know about before. I appreciate it, man.
This is my first podcast interview, so
there you go. Grateful that you are. This is the first one for you. I'm sure there'll be many, many more. And then, you got to get used to the camera for the Netflix show, mate. So
yeah,
it's all coming down the pipe, I'm sure.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Thank you, mate. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm sure that was really useful. Micro niching, super important. Become the expert. Get that real world tactical experience that you can then translate into pain points for your customer. Understand what they're going through, so you can really drill down and actually help them solve problems that they're going through.
That's right. All right, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. And we'll catch you on the next episode.